Hi friends, good very warm welcome to the class, the history class. Today we will be talking about chapter 6, the Mughal Empire after Akbar. And in this chapter we will be talking about the main topics. First one will be Jahangir, second one will be Shah Jahan, third one will be Aurangzeb, and the fourth one, then the last one will be the decline of Mughal Empire, or what we call the end of Mughal Empire. So in this chapter, we will be talking about these four topics, these four subtopics. So let us see what all things are there in this chapter. So before starting the chapter, we need to talk about Mughal Empire. Actually, I told you in the last class, I mean in the fifth chapter, that Mughal Empire started from Babur, right? And it started from the first battle of Panipat. Actually, after Akbar's death in 1605, his son Prince Salim ascended the throne. Salim was named after the famous Sufi saint Sheikh Salim Chishti, whose blessings Akbar had sought for the birth of a son. Salim was born to Jodhabai and came to be known as Nuruddin Muhammad Jahangir. That means conqueror of the world. Now we will talk about Jahangir. This is the picture of the famous Emperor Jahangir. Jahangir took interest in the welfare of his subjects. He continued Akbar's policy of winning over Rajput chiefs through marriage alliances and grants of high offices. In the first year of Jahangir's reign, his son Prince Khusro revolted against him. The prince was defeated at Lahore. Guru Arjun, a great leader of the Sikh, was executed for assisting Prince Khusro. This started a long conflict between the Sikh people and Mughal people. In 1613, Jahangir defeated the ruler of Mewar, Rana Amar Singh, the son of Rana Pratap. In 1620, he captured Kangra. Jahangir also established his control over Bengal and Awadh. And next is, after some time in 1616, Ahmednagar was annexed. In 1616, during Jahangir's reign, the Deccan remained a source of trouble for the Mughal people. When the Persians attacked Kandahar, Jahangir ordered his son Prince Khurram to defend the Persians. The prince refused to fight the Persians who conquered Kandahar in 1622. The loss of Kandahar was a serious blow to the Mughals, since it had enabled them to control the trade routes between India and Persia, as well as Central Asia and Afghanistan. It was also a recruiting ground for Central Asian troops for the Mughal army. Moreover, it was earlier to defend against attacks from Central and West Asia from Kandahar. So these are the things that we need to talk about Jahangir's first time, or the first phase. Now we will talk about, there is something called an interesting thing, Jahangir's chain of justice. There was a bell for justice in the palace of Jahangir. Let us talk about Jahangir's chain of justice. As soon as he ascended the throne, Emperor Jahangir installed a chain of justice at the gate of his palace. The chain was made up of gold and had bells attached to it. Anyone with a grievance, I mean, anyone with a worry could pull the chain and receive a fair hearing from the emperor. So, for this thing, Jahangir installed something what we call chain of justice. So, this is all about chain of justice. Now, we will talk about a personality called Noor Jahan. Actually, Noor Jahan is also known as Mahrunisa. Mahrunisa is also known as Light of the World, was a widow and the daughter of a noble in Akbar's court. Akbar was attracted by her quick wit. Wit means what? Intelligence or humor. With intelligence and beauty, Jahangir married her in 1611. She began to advise Jahangir on state matters. Once during his prolonged illness, she managed the empire very efficiently. Jahangir became increasingly dependent on her. In fact, she became so powerful that some coins were issued in her name. Noor Jahan secured important positions for her father and brother who helped her, along with Prince Khurram in ruling the empire. According to the English ambassador Thomas Roe, all state business depended on her. However, Noor Jahan was not trusted by a section of the noble people who revolted against her on the eve of Jahangir's death. Noor Jahan retired from the court after her husband's death in 1627. So this is all about the wife of Akbar. Her name is Noor Jahan. Noor Jahan was also known as Mahrunisa. Mahrunisa, the meaning of Mahrunisa is light of the world. Next, we will be talking about the relations with the European traders and cultural contribution during the time of what we call Akbar's time. Relations with European traders. Actually, Jahangir granted trading rights to the Portuguese, who soon started misusing these rights. In 1615, Thomas Roe, an envoy of King James I of England, visited Jahangir's court. The main purpose of Roe's mission was to seek protection for the East India Company's factory at Surat, Gujarat. Thomas Roe has left an interesting account of life in the Mughals' court. Now we will talk about cultural contribution. What are the different cultural contributions that Mughal Emperor has given, or Mughal Empire has given to the country or to the society? Actually, Jahangir was a love of nature. He was a scholar and a lover of learning. He was also a great patron of art, especially painting. These were the things that we need to consider. And I apologize for what I have said in the last clip. Actually, Mahrunisa was the wife of not Akbar. She was the wife of Jahangir. Okay. Now we will talk about the next emperor, the next person after Jahangir. His name is Shah Jahan. When we talk about Shah Jahan, we will recollect the memories of Taj Mahal and Mumtaz Begum, right? Let us talk about Shah Jahan. In 1628, Prince Khurram ascended the throne at Agra as Shah Jahan, king of the world. Shah Jahan suppressed many rebellions that broke out during the early years of his reign. In the Deccan, he conquered Ahmednagar and Bijapur and Golconda, accepted his overlordship. However, his unsuccessful wars in Central Asia caused a heavy loss of man and money. During Shah Jahan's reign, the Marathas began to increase their power under Shaji Bhosle, an official of Bijapur ruler. Bhosle's son Shivaji occasionally clashed with the Mughals. These clashes marked the beginning of king conflict between the Marathas and the Mughal people. There was economic prosperity during Shah Jahan's reign. Trade got expanded, especially after the arrival of European traders, European business people. Industry also flourished as Indian goods like textiles were in great demand abroad. So these were the things which happened during the time of Shah Jahan. Now we will talk about the Shah Jahan and the relations with the European traders. Actually, Shah Jahan defeated the Portuguese people who were misusing their trading rights. The Dutch East India Company had established in 1602. The company set up its trade outposts at Surat, Ahmedabad, Cochin, Nagapattinam, Chinnasura, Patna, and set up and Agra. However, as their main interest was in the spice trade, they were more interested in Java, Sumatra, and the Spice Islands of Indonesian archipelago. Another European nation, Denmark, established its trading station at Frankfurt in the east coast, south of Madras. However, they could not compete with the Dutch and the English in trade. The English expanded trade in India. I mean, English means the British people expanded trade in India. In 1633, they established a trading post in Odisha. In 1639, the English East India Company got a small village called Madras from the Raja of Chandragiri. Fort St. George was built here later. In 1651, the English company set up a trading center at Hooghly in Bengal. Okay, so these were the things that we need to consider when we talk about the relationship with or the relation with European traders. Next, we will be talking about cultural contribution during the time of Shah Jahan. Actually, Shah Jahan was a patron of literature, music, painting, and architecture. His eldest son, Dara, was a great scholar. Dara had many Sanskrit texts translated into Persian. Shah Jahan built the Taj Mahal at Agra as a tomb for his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal. It is a marvelous blend of Indian, Central Asian, and Persian style of architecture. Designs created with Pietra Dura decorate. Pietra Dura means pieces of stones inlaid in marbles. Decorate the walls of the Taj Mahal, and its interior was beautiful marble screens. The Moti Masjid at Agra was also built by Shah Jahan. After Mumtaz Mahal's death, Shah Jahan shifted his capital from Agra to a site now in Delhi. He named it Shah Jahanabad. Here, he built the Red Fort and the Jama Masjid. One of the most beautiful buildings within the Red Fort is the Divani Khas, where Shah Jahan met his ministers. It has beautiful Pietra Dura panels. This is where the peacock throne made of gold and jewels was placed. So this is the peacock throne that we were discussing about. Okay, this is the peacock throne of Shah Jahan, and this is a Taj Mahal, and another one Moti Mahal. Then this is Red Fort and this is Jama Masjid. Okay, so these are the monuments that these are the buildings that Shah Jahan has constructed during his reign. Now we will be talking about the next ruler, Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb, he started his journey from 1658 to 1707. Aurangzeb. Shah Jahan's third son, Aurangzeb, ascended the throne in 1658 after imprisoning his father in the Agra fort. Aurangzeb took the title Alangir. Alangir means conqueror of the world. Under him, the Mughal Empire reached its greatest extent but also faced many problems. Aurangzeb increased the taxes payable by non-Muslims and permitted the destruction of temple. Measures like these angered his subjects. Hence, Aurangzeb had to face many revolts such as those of the Bundelas, Sikh, Jat and Satnamis. He also lost the loyalty of the Rajputs. So these were the problems which happened during the time of whom? During the time of Aurangzeb. Now we need to talk about Sikh revolt. I told you there was a revolt, there was a war between Sikh people and the Mughal people. So we will do one thing, we will talk about Sikh revolt. In 1675, Guru Tegh Bahadur, the 9th Sikh Guru, was beheaded under orders from Aurangzeb. Tegh Bahadur's son, Guru Gobind, became the 10th Guru. He introduced the custom of Pahul. Pahul means baptism by sweetened water stirred with a dagger. Those who got baptized become members of a disciplined brotherhood known as Khalsa. Khalsa means what? Meaning the purity. The men were given the title Singh. Singh means learn. They were instructed to help the needy and helpless and never to show their back to the enemy. Every member of the Khalsa had to have 5 distinctive things on his person. These were kesh. Kesh means uncut hair. Hair shouldn't cut. Kanga. Kanga means comb. Kripan. Kripan means a dagger. Okay. Khada. Khada means a steel bangle. And kacha. Kacha means underpants. After Guru Gobind, holy book Guru Granth Sahib came to be regarded as the Guru, and the work of spreading its message was taken over by the Khalsa. The Khalsa also began a war of independence from Mughal rule. After a long struggle with Aurangzeb's successors, the Sikh people finally won their independence. So these are the things which happened during the time of Sikh revolt, and after that Sikh is getting independent from the Mughal rule. So here is a question: why did Aurangzeb behead Guru Granth Bahadur? I'm giving to say the answer to you. I'm giving the answer. I'm giving the answer to you. I mean, you need to think the answer and kindly inform me when you come back. Now we will talk about Aurangzeb and Deccan party, or the society which stayed in Deccan region. Aurangzeb sent a powerful force under Shah Jahan to control the Marathas. Under the leadership of Shivaji, the Marathas overpowered the Mughal forces. In 1664, Shivaji launched an attack on the important Mughal port of Surat and plundered it of its wealth. Aurangzeb then sent a massive force under Raja Jai Singh, who inflicted a crushing defeat on Shivaji, forcing him to sign the Treaty of Purandar in 1665. You need to underline that word, Treaty of Purandar in 1665. It is an important thing in the time of Mughal Empire, especially during the reign of Aurangzeb. Shivaji had to surrender several forts and had to promise to visit Aurangzeb's court at Agra. Here he felt humiliated and walked out of the court. He and his son were arrested and imprisoned. However, both escaped concealed in baskets of sweets. Shivaji then resumed his activities against Mughals, capturing Surat, Gingi, and Vellore and parts of Mysore. In 1681, Aurangzeb went to the Deccan to crush the Marathas, who were now led by Shivaji's son Shambhaji. Aurangzeb remained in the Deccan till 1707. During this period, he conquered Bijapur and Golconda. He captured and executed Shambhaji in 1689. He also took Shambhaji's infant son, Shahu, prisoner. Aurangzeb, however, could not completely crush the Maratha people. Now we will talk about the trade relation with European people. Actually, Aurangzeb granted trading rights to the English East India Company. This promoted trade in India and fetched high profits for the Mughals as well as the company's merchant. By the end of 17th century, Mumbai, Madras, Calcutta become the three major trade centers of the English East India Company. The French established trade centers at Chandranagar in Bengal and Pondicherry in Puducherry in the south of Madras. Now we will talk about the assessment of Aurangzeb. Actually, Aurangzeb was a devoted Sunni Muslim. We know that Muslims are divided into Sunni, Shia, Mujahid. So Aurangzeb was a Sunni Muslim. He led a simple life, strictly according to Sunni tradition. Till the end of his life, he sewed caps to earn his daily wages. He tried his best to maintain law and order and to rule in the interest of the people. His efforts failed due to his autocratic ways and lack of foresight. He doesn't have a foresight. He doesn't have a wisdom, good wisdom to think what will happen in the next. Aurangzeb was always busy fighting wars and suppressing revolt. This gave his nobles the opportunity to increase their power. After Aurangzeb's death in 1707, his empire began to break apart. Now we will talk about the last part, the decline of Mughal Empire. How did Mughal Empire got end, or how did Mughal Empire declined? We will talk about this. The period from 1526 to 1707, that is from Babur's accession to the throne to the death of Aurangzeb, is called the era of Great Mughals. The Mughal Empire reached the peak of its power and prestige during the reign of Akbar, Jahangir, and Shah Jahan. After Aurangzeb, Mughal power declined under a series of weak rulers known as the Later Mughals. By the middle of 18th century, the empire had shrunk and weakened considerably, and it finally collapsed in 1857. Now we will talk about what are the causes of now we will talk about what are the causes of decline. What are the causes of decline of what we call Mughal Empire. So there are 5 causes mainly. First one is rise of independent states. Second one is war of succession. Third one is foreign invaders. Fourth one is oppression and maladministration. Fifth one is negative role of nobles. Let us talk about the causes of decline. And before that, we need to talk about what are the strength and weakness of Mughal Empire. Actually, Mughal Empire at the time of Great Mughals was based on a strong central military power and political authority. The rulers followed the policies of religious tolerance. They often had power sharing arrangements with the Rajput. They built a good administrative system that worked in the interest of the people. Trade got expanded, leading to economic prosperity. On the other hand, the Mughals neglected the navy and failed to modernize their army. Frequent wars of succession and religious intolerance during the time of Aurangzeb also led to the weakening of the empire. Now we will talk about the causes of decline. The first one is rise of independent states. Actually, Aurangzeb got alienated large sections of the people through his policy of religious intolerance. The Rajputs, who had always stood by the Mughals, now become hostile. The Sikh people become militant. After the death of Aurangzeb, they rose under Banda Bandhu. This ultimately led to the establishment of an independent state of Punjab under Ranjit Singh towards the end of 18th century. Maratha power increased rapidly in Western and Central Asia. By the middle of 18th century, they become serious contenders for political power in the north as well. Aurangzeb's long distance from the north allowed nobles and governors to become more powerful. Slowly, they started breaking away from the empire. Okay, so this is how the independent states in India formed after during the time of Aurangzeb, and this caused the end of Mughal rule. The second thing is war of succession or the battles of succession. The Mughal dynasty did not have clear rules of succession. This caused bloody conflicts even during the reign of the great Mughal people. After Aurangzeb, 10 weak rulers occupied the throne in quick succession in a span of just 54 years. Most of the rulers were assassinated through court intrigues. These rulers were in no position to assert their authority, and thus the central authority of the empire became very weak. So this happened, and it caused the end of Mughal Empire. The third point is foreign invaders. Foreign invaders means foreign people who came to India for trade and for ruling. The weakness of the central authority during the reign of later Mughals attracted invaders. Nadir Shah's invasion was followed by a series of invasions by Ahmad Shah Abdali. These invasions did not only devastated the military strength and economy of the empire, but also made the northwest insecure. As a result, the flourishing trade of this region divined and the economy stagnated. Stagnated means the economy got destroyed. Fourth point is oppression and maladministration. Oppression means what? A kind of exploitation. Maladministration means not good administration, means bad administration. So oppression and maladministration, fourth point. As the empire became poorer, the nobles and the zamindars started fleecing the peasantry to extract more revenue. This led to revolt. Agriculture suffered and revenues divided further. Mughal officials become inefficient and corrupt in the absence of a powerful central authority. Even taxes were not collected properly. So this caused the decline, the end of Mughal Empire. The fifth point or the last point is negative roles of noble people. The nobles formed groups among themselves and hatched conspiracies. They were more interested in getting their candidate appointed the vizier than in the welfare of the state. They often acted as kingmakers. Powerful and efficient nobles who were disgusted by the state of affairs moved away to establish independent states like Hyderabad, Awadh, and Bengal. Although many of these states were strong and well administered, their rise contributed to the collapse of Mughal authority. So when we talk about the decline of Mughal society or Mughal empire, we need to consider these five stanzas or these five. So these are the what we could, this is the solution or this is the explanation of the chapter Mughal Empire after Akbar. So what we do is we will go through the answer key. We will go through the answer key of all the textbook exercises of this chapter, chapter 6. We will go through. We will go through this thing, and we will. Yeah, let me switch off my video for some time so that you will be able to see the question and answers clearly. Yeah. So I think you have seen all the question and answers of this chapter. I hope you have understood the answer key, I mean the answers of all the question and answers. So I wish a very warm vacation, and I wish you safe health, like yeah, I wish you a good luck to everybody. Stay safe and healthy always. We will meet you in the very next class. Till then, take care. Bye bye.